Hello guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, according to your time zone. And I still would like to apologize of my voice, guys. Still, I'm suffering with cold and flu, so just ignore my voice condition. Let's continue from yesterday's place where we saw the first part in your Unix Basics, in which we saw how to use few basics command like who am I, who, uname, and ls, cat command, touch command, mkdir command, cd command, etc. Today, let's continue and let's try to see more on that, where I'm going to start with how to make a directory within a directory. So let me log in. If you remember yesterday, we stored our settings for our machine with rel 7.1. So let me continue. Let me load it and let me log in. Let's provide the username root and the password Red Hat, what we have maintained. And before I can continue, I'm sorry. Kindly please confirm me. Are you able to hear me? Guys, just give me a confirmation that is my voice audible. Can you hear me? Okay, so Zishan says yes. Garima says yes. Michael, you can hear. Okay, great. Thanks for confirmation, guys. Let's continue. And so as we saw yesterday, that after logging, you can check out with which username you have logged in, more details about it, who am I, or to check the flavor you name, to check the details of the directories in which you are, contents, ls, in detail, ls minus l, for a file in detail, ls minus l, my file, for a directory, ls minus ld, my directory. Now, what I wanted to do out over here is I would like to create a directory, and inside that directory, I'd like to create a subdirectory. And how I'm going to do that? Creating a directory and a directory inside it at a time. Directory inside directory at a time. So in order to do that, we would be running the command mkdir minus p, where p stands for parent directory. What it is going to do is, first it is going to create a parent directory, and inside it, it will allow you to create a child directory. For instance, I'd like to create a directory called uh, my directory 2. Inside it, I'd like to create one directory called D1. Now you see what happens over here is my dir2 is created, and when I say ls my dir2, you see, I'm sorry for the spelling, you see that it contains one more directory called D1. So what actually happened over here is I have created a directory, and within the directory I have also created a subdirectory. Generally what happens is when you say mkdir, and if you say any directory name, for example test, you see that the directory got created test, but it would be an empty directory, nothing inside it. So here what I did is I told mkdir, for example Musab, but I want inside it one more directory to be there. So what I'll do, I'll say P, that the parent directory should be Musab, and inside this directory Musab, it should create one more directory for me. So I'll say slash, that inside Musab, go and create one more directory called D2, for example. Now, if I say ls, you see there is a directory created Musab, and inside that directory, you've got one more directory created. So like that, you can create a parent directory. Inside it, you can add one more directory. You can add one directory, you can add several directory, you can add directory into directory, however you want, just you need to follow it by slash, like make dir musab and D2 inside it, you want to create D3. Like that, you can go directory inside directory and there inside directory, and you can create multiple directories in that fashion. Now, what I wanted to do is I want to create a directory, for example, with the name called UK. And inside that directory called UK, I'd like a directory to be created called London, and I want to create a directory called Scotland. Two at a time I'd like to do. So I'll say make dir. I need a parent directory with the name called UK. Inside UK, I need two directories. One is London, and the other one I need is Scotland. But giving like this, it may not create it properly. So what we need to do is we need to give it inside flower bracket. Whenever, I'm sorry, whenever you wanted to create multiple directories inside a directory, then you need to give a flower bracket, and then you need to give these things. Then it is going to work properly. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to say that create a parent directory UK slash inside it. I need two directories. One is London and the other one is Scotland. So I have separated them with a comma and I kept it inside a flower bracket. Now when I hit enter, do ls, you see there is a directory created UK. Inside UK, you can see there are two subdirectories, London and Scotland. So like that, what you can do, you can create a directory within a directory. Let's try some more complex thing where I'd like to create a directory with the name called world. Inside world, I need three subdirectories, India, Australia, and USA. Whereas inside India, I need two directories, HYD and BANG. So that is Hyderabad and Bangalore. Whereas in Australia, I need two directories, Sydney and Perth. Whereas in USA, I need two directories, Tampa and New York City, NYC. So how am I going to create this structure? Where the mother directory I want to create is world, three subdirectories, and these three subdirectories should have another two subdirectories. Let me show you how to do this activity. So to create a directory in that fashion, we'll start with a command make dir. I need a parent directory with the name called world. Now inside world, I need three subdirectories. So I need to start my flower bracket. First, I need to create India. But it is not enough here. You see, inside India, I need two more subdirectories. One is Hyderabad and the other one is Bangalore. So how I'm going to declare Hyderabad and Bangalore? So I need to give one more slash. Inside world, I need India. Inside India, I need two more directories. So I need to start one more bracket over here. So in that, I will say that I need HYD as my one directory and Bangalore as my another directory. I'll close the bracket. I'm still in my main directory, in my main bracket. So after India, I'll give a comma where my second directory which I want to create is Australia. So I'll say that create Australia, and it is not sufficient. In Australia, I need Sydney and Perth. So I'll give a slash. Again, I'm going to start a braces, flower braces, where I'll give Sydney and Perth. Close the braces. I'm still in my main braces, so where I have created India and Australia. Apart from that, I need one more, so I'll give comma. Then I'll say USA. Inside USA, I need two more. One is Tampa and the other one is New York City. Done. So try to understand the concept. I'm telling that make dir, make me first a parent directory with the name world. Inside world, I need three directories: India, Australia, and USA. So where in India I have two more directories to be created. So I'm giving slash to separate it, and inside it I'll give HYD comma Bangalore, close the braces. Then I'm giving a comma as I'm still in my main braces. So I'll say Australia. In Australia, I need Sydney, comma Perth, close the braces, comma, I'm still in my main braces, so I'll give USA. Inside USA, I need Tampa and New York. Now you see every braces have been properly closed, whereas the main braces is still to be closed. So I need to add one more braces at the end to close all the braces. And let me hit enter. It says I did some mistake somewhere, and where is that? Let me find out. Make dirp mother directory world. Seems everything proper to me. Still the same thing. Let me redraft my command. Make directory with the parent directory called world. Suggestion. It seems that might be I have used a wrong braces somewhere. Yes, if you see that near HYD, instead of using flower braces, I have given square or that round braces. That's the mistake. Thank you very much for pointing out. So you see that it should be flower braces. I have given that round braces, so that was the mistake. I'm extremely sorry about that. Let me now hit enter to continue. The syntax is absolutely correct. And let me hit enter. Done. Now if I say ls, you'll see our directory world is created. If I say ls and the directory name, you see inside it I am having three directories: Australia, India, and USA. Now if I want to see the whole structure in one output, there is a command which you can use called tree and the directory name. But unfortunately, in our scenario, it may not work. And the reason is we didn't install this package called tree. Like to use this command, then you need to install a package. But as of now, we didn't learn how to install a software. So what I want to do is I would like to skip it, and you may run this particular command after installing a package. Basically, to install a package, you've got a simple command, guys. If you have a yum repository configured, then you can say yum install tree -y. Then this thing may get installed. But again, to make sure that yum works, there are some prerequisites which we need to check out. That's the reason I don't want you to go for it as of now. But we have another command which we can run, which is ls minus capital R, where R stands for recursion or recursive output. See, recursive output is something that would give you a detailed output of a directory inside it, what is there. If it is a directory inside it, what is there inside that directory. It would make a loop for you. It would take inside a loop and show you what is inside the directory, and if inside there is one more directory, what is inside capital R and world. You see, okay, there is a query coming in. That voice is breaking. Guys, are you all facing the same thing? Kindly confirm, guys. If all are facing the same issue, then let me check out what to do. If it is my network or something. So as I was telling that when I run ls minus capital R and the directory name, it would give me a recursive output where it would show you the three main directories inside it, that is Australia, India, USA. In Australia, it is showing you two directories, Perth and Sydney, whereas Perth does not have anything, Sydney does not have anything. Then it moved to India in alphabetical order. In India, we've got Bangalore, we've got Hyderabad, which is still empty. Then we move towards USA. In USA, we've created New York and Tampa, where New York is empty and Tampa is empty. So in this fashion, what we can do is we can create directories, and inside that directory, one more directory. So basically, a recursive kind of concept we can apply out over here. So as I was explaining you guys that this is how the output would be displayed in a recursive manner. So where you can go from top to bottom, like from your topmost directory to your bottommost directory, and you can see the complete output that inside the directory, how many directories are there, and within those directories, if you have some more directories, all of them would be displayed at once. So this is how we can create a directory within a directory, and we can achieve this kind of structure if you want to create. Let's move on, and now let's try to see how to copy files from one location to other locations, and how to copy directories from one location to other location. To copy a file or a directory, we've got a command called cp, which stands for copy. And the syntax is quite same what you might have done on your Windows environment graphically. You need to copy it from some location, and that location would be called as source, and you would be pasting it on some other location. That location would be called as destination. So our command would be cp source, from where would you like to pick up this file, and destination, where would you like to paste it. So what to copy and where to paste. These are the two things what we will be doing for copying a file and pasting it somewhere else. For instance, I have a file called my file, which I want to put it inside test folder. So as you see ls and test, there is nothing inside test folder. You can go inside test folder and confirm also. There is nothing. I'm coming back to my previous directory. So if you see, I have my file which I want to move, which I want to copy and paste inside test folder. So to do this, we've got a very simple command cp. I'd like to copy something called my file, and I'd like to paste it inside test folder. Now last time when I did ls and test, there was nothing inside it. But now when I do ls, you see inside it, it has pasted one file for me. It has copied and pasted. And do ls, your original file is still there. It is copying it. It is not moving it, or it is not cut and paste. It is copy and paste, what we generally do on Windows environment also. In the same fashion, I'd like to move one directory into other directory. For example, I'd like to move test directory into Musab directory. How to move? To copy a directory, I'm so sorry. To copy a directory, we've got a very similar command, but few extra flags or few extra options are needed. You need to run cp -r or -r. R stands for recursive. Guys, whenever you are copying a file, you simply need to say cp and the file name and destination. Whereas to copy a directory, you need to use -r compulsorily, because directory may contain data. So I need to copy a directory and its contents. So it is mandatory for me to use -r flag. In most of the cases, guys, whenever we are dealing with directory, you'll see that you have to use -r option to do something recursively over a directory. So you need to say cp -r, which is a mandatory flag. Then we've got some optional flags like v, to see the output, to see verbose output. Verbose is nothing but to see the output. Even in Windows, guys, when you do copying, it will show you some output like pages are moving from one end to other end. Something is displayed, that which file it is copying and how much percentage it has copied. Same thing over here. If you want to see the output, that what it is moving and so far how much it has moved and all that thing, then you can add -v. It's an optional flag. If you don't give it, The only thing happens is it may not display any output, but the copying may be happening background. F to forcefully move the output. I mean, to forcefully move copy the file. It may happen, guys, in a multi-tasking operating system. Many peoples may be working on your same directory. They might be adding data, these or that. So in that scenario, it may not allow you to copy the data. So what you want to do is you want to copy it forcefully so that it may not be stopped from copying from one end to other end. P is for permissions. See guys, what are these permissions? We are going to talk about it. I'm so sorry about this thing. Okay guys, I'm so sorry. I went ahead without sharing my screen. I'm absolutely sorry about it. Let me continue one more time what I'm trying to convey the message. I'm extremely sorry about it, guys. I don't know what's happening today with me. So let me go back and let me start explaining you one more time, guys, what I was telling you. So as I was talking about, guys, how to copy a file. To copy a file, guys, we've got a command cp, file name, and the destination location. So what we can do if you want to copy any file anywhere. For example, we've got a file called my file, which I want to copy into Musab directory. If I say ls and Musab, you see there is no file with the name my file. Now I'd like to copy that file. So we've got a simple syntax cp and the file which I want to copy, that is my file, and I'd like to put it into Musab directory. When I hit enter, you do ls, your original file will be there itself. As we didn't cut and paste, we have copy and paste. So if you check out ls and the folder called Musab, you can see that the file got copied. Earlier there was no file inside Musab directory. Now inside Musab directory you can see there is a file copied called my file. Now in the same fashion, I'd like to copy the whole test directory into Musab directory. And how am I going to do that? The syntax is cp minus rvfp or hyphen rvfp, where hyphen r is for recursive, to copy the data recursively. As I've told you earlier also, that your directory may contain some directories and some files. So I'd like to go recursively and copy everything inside the directory. V to have a verbose output to see what is being copied and how much it is copied. F to perform this action forcefully, so that if some files are in use, it may not stop me from copying the data. It should copy in the same manner even if it is being in used. P to preserve permissions. See, after copying the data from one location to other also, I need my files to have the same permissions what it was having on the source location. Now what are these permissions and all? We are going to talk about it in a coming time. So I don't want to land into that thing of permission and all. So let's not talk about permissions. So if you want to preserve those permissions, you have to add p. So I'll try to show you with only the important things if you wanted to see, or if you want to add all the flags also, doesn't matter. So if you want to copy a directory, then we need cp minus r. R is the mandatory flag. You can use it alone. What would you like to copy? I'd like to copy test folder into musab folder. That's it, it will get copied. But if you would like to see the output, what it is copying, you can add v, and you fear that there are some files which is in use which may not allow me to get copied, you can use f. And if you would like to copy it with the same permissions what it is actually carrying, see what happens is when the data get copied from one location to other, it may not carry the same permissions. It will now inherit the permissions of musab instead of having its own permission. So you want to have its same permission how or what it was having earlier, then you need to add p. And what are those permissions and all, as I've told you, we are going to see it in the coming time. So you see, by adding v, it is telling that it has started copying a directory test in musab, and it has done. Then in test directory there was a file, my file, which also it has copied and pasted inside it. So now if I say ls and musab, you can see that it copied test folder inside it. And if I go to musab and say ls and test, you see inside test it got a file called my file. So like that, you can copy a directory or a file. The only difference between copying a file and directory is you need to add up an extra flag which is minus R or hyphen R, which is compulsory. Without using minus R, you may not be able to copy a directory. Other than that, V, FP are the optional flags. If it is needed, you can add it, else it is not required. Now this was the case of copying and pasting. Now let's see how to cut and paste. Let's say you want to permanently move some data from one location to other location. And how am I going to do that? With a very simple command called mv, where mv stands for move. And again the same story, move source followed by destination. Now mv is the same thing what we do in our Windows environment, cut and paste, Control X, Control C, Control X, Control V, I'm sorry. So let me show you how to move permanently a file or a directory from one location to other location. Let me go back to my home directory by using cd. I'm back to /root. Now assume I'd like to move file 1 into musab. To move it, I can use mv and the file name file1. If you want, you can use v to add up verbose, f for forceful, and p to move with permission. So I'll say mv file1 into musab directory. Now when I hit enter to ls, you see earlier there was file1 in root directory, but now it is no more available. Where it has gone, check in musab directory and you can see the file got moved out over here. Similarly, you would like to move the whole directory. For example, I'd like to move this UK directory into world directory. I want to move UK into world. Guys, to move a directory also, we've got same command. And you don't need any hyphen R over here or minus R over here. MV command works the same way for a file and a directory. You don't need any hyphen R in case of moving. So I'll simply say MV UK folder into world folder. Now when I do ls, you see earlier there was UK folder in my current location where I cannot see now. Where it has moved, if I say ls world, you can see inside world it now got moved out. So this was cut and paste. A question coming in from Garima that if I copy a file with if I copy a file on another file, what happens? Good question, in fact. See guys, the question coming in over here like this, that I have a file called my file, and if I copy a file my file on file 2, what it is going to do? Can anybody tell me the answer, guys? What do you think will happen? If I copy my file on file 2, what do you think it is going to do? Let me show you guys what it will do. See guys, if I say cp, first of all, check out cat my file contains some data. Cat file 2 does not have any data. Let me add some data in file 2 also. Let's say hello world, not hello world, let's use something else. I'll say copy example. Let me save and quit. Now you see guys, if I say my file, it contains some data. If I say file 2, it also contains some data. Now when I run cp my file on file 2, see guys, last time what I was trying to do is I was trying to copy a file inside directory. So it was copying it and it was pasting it on the directory or inside that directory. But now the question what Garima asked is, if I copy a file on the top of other file, what will happen? So obviously it is going to overwrite it. So it will ask a question that now I am going to overwrite it. Is that fine with you? If you say yes, that is why, then you run cat file 2, you'll see the data what you were having earlier is now got overwritten. Did you got it? That's again a counter question, that what happens if we use MV in the similar fashion? Excellent question. Let's do it practically and let's get the answer. So let's say that I'll take file 3 this time. Let me add up some data in file 3. I'll say MV example. Let me say Control D to save it. Now if I say file 2, it contains some data. If I say file 3, it contains some data. Last time we tried cp command, it has overwritten the data. Let's try using this. If I say MV instead of copy, MV file 2 on file 3. So again, it is going to do the same thing. It says it will overwrite file 3. Let me say yes to ls. You see, where is your file 2 gone? So it's not deleted, but actually your file 2 has now become file 3, and the data of your file 3 has gone. In previous case, what happened is my file was also there, file 2 was also there, but contents of file 2 was overwritten. But when it comes to MV, in this scenario, what happened? It has removed file 2, and file 2 whole thing has been moved out to a new place now, file 3. Yes, Edward asked a question. Does that means we cannot copy file over another file? See, if you copy, it is going to overwrite. And yes, you cannot copy. If you copy, it is going to overwrite it. What you can do is you can copy the data inside one file manually and paste it into other file or append it into other file instead of pasting it directly. So what it can do is it can preserve the previous data, and it may also add up a new data inside. So is that clear, Karima and Edward? Right. A good question from Garima, and that's very nice that we have learned something like copying and moving a file on another file. In case of copying, it will keep the previous file and the contents of new location will overwrite. In case of moving, the old file is removed and the contents is overwritten on your destination, file 3. So it's quite very, what I can say, careful things we need to do. Doing it just like that may damage your data, so be very careful while executing such commands. It may become a dangerous thing for us. So let's continue. How to rename a file and directory. Guys, to rename a file or to rename a directory, we still got the same command, mv. mv acts as moving or cut and paste, and in other case it acts as renaming also. So how come single command is working for both concepts? Guys, it's logic. If you understood logic, it's actually working in the same fashion. For example, assume I want to rename file 3. I want to rename it with a new name called testing. I want to change the name file 3 to testing. So I will use the command mv and my existing name file 3, which I want to rename it with a new thing called testing. So when I hit enter and do ls, you see guys, earlier I was having file 3. Now there is no file 3. It got moved into a new name called testing. And if you check the contents, it would show you the same contents what you would having in the previous things. So the logic over here is, if I am giving a name which does not exist, it is going to move the contents of file 3 into new name, and it will remove file3. Just a bit before, guys, the question what Garima asked and I have explained that moving a file onto other file. So what it is doing, it is removing the existing name and placing all your data in file3. In this time, there was no other file with that name. So it didn't overwrite. What it did is it has moved the content with new name. If I want to rename a directory also, I had a same procedure. For example, I want to change this my dir with a new name called vpdir. So how to rename? If I say mv my dir and I want to rename it with vpdir. Again, you see the logic, guys. There is no directory with the name vpdir already existing. So when I hit enter, you do ls, you see earlier there used to be a directory called mydir, which is now renamed as vpdir. Question coming in from Garima again. What happens if vpdir already exists? Yes, I was about to explain the same thing, Garima. So let's see what happens. See, guys, it becomes logic then. Assume I want to rename my dir2 as vpdir. But you see vpdir is already existing. Now when I run the command mv my dir2 and I want to rename it with vpdir. So I'm telling that rename my dir2 with this name vpdir. Guys, already vpdir is there. So it is not going to work as renaming command. In this time, it will work as move command. Instead of renaming, it will move my dir2 into vpdir. Before running this command, guys, run ls vpdir. There are some directories, there are some files. Let me run mv my dir2 into vpdir. See, guys, instead of renaming, it didn't renamed it. Just check out vpdir. You can see that instead of renaming, it has now worked as a moving command or cut and paste command. So that's the reason what happens is this mv command would behaving in different way per the logic, guys. For example, if destination is not already available, then it will rename the file or directory. If destination is already available, in case of a file you have seen, it will overwrite the file. In case of a directory, it will move the file or directory into that particular directory. So if destination exists, it acts as move command. If destination does not exist, it acts as renaming command. So this is the logic what mv command uses. Simple enough, guys. Guys, am I able to make it clear, or still if you have any questions on this, please move ahead. Let's finish with this questions on this. I don't want to have any confusion over it. Then only we'll continue with the next thing. So is that clear, guys? Or if you have any kind of questions, then you can move forward. Garima says it's okay for her. She's understanding the concept properly. Okay, great. Anybody else has any questions, guys? Please. So far, Edward is also fine. Thank you. Michael is also fine. Great. Manzoor and Zishan, if there is any questions from your side, or if you're not able to, okay, Manzoor is also fine. Okay, guys, so almost everybody is fine. That's a good sign. Fine. So let's move ahead, guys, and let's see how to remove these files and how to remove the directories. Quite a risky thing sometime, guys, because removing has to be a very careful activity. Because in Linux environment, guys, or in our Unix environment, there is no recycle bin kind of thing where if you have removed, you can go back and restore it. So here you need to be very careful before removing. If you don't have backups, then you may lose that file or directory permanently. So to remove a file or a directory, to remove a file, we've got a command rm and file name. For instance, I'd like to remove a file called file4, and to remove it, I'll use a command rm file4. When I hit enter, it will prompt me, would you really like to remove it? So you need to say yes or no. If you say Y, it is going to continue. If you say N, it is not going to continue. So when I say ls, you see your file4 has been permanently deleted. Now similarly, let's say you want to remove my file without any prompting. You don't want that yes or no question to be asked. You are sure enough that you want to remove it. So you can run this command rm minus f to forcefully remove a file. So when I hit enter with my file name, which is my file this time, you see no prompting will there. Yes or no, nothing. When I hit enter, it is simply going to remove the file. So like that, you can remove a file by using rm command. Rm will prompt you yes or no. Rm minus f will not prompt you anything. Directly it is going to remove it. Similarly, you can remove a directory also. For example, I'll create one directory called D2, and this directory D2 I'd like to remove. To remove a directory, we've got a command called rmdir, remove directory. And the directory I'd like to remove is D2, do ls, and you see directory got removed. In the same fashion, I'd like to remove vpdir. I'll run the command rmdir vpdir. Hit enter. It says fail to remove. Directory is not empty. So with this, we came to understand that rmdir is a command that can only remove an empty directory. It cannot remove a directory that contains the data. So that's quite a heavy thing for me then. For example, if I go into vpdir, it has number of directories, number of files. Those number of directories may have another number of directories and files. And inside it, those directories may have another dozen of file inside it and directories inside it. So in this manner, I need to remove everything manually. All the directories and files one after the other I need to clear. Then I need to come out and then I need to run rmdir command. That's going to be very hectic work for me. So rmdir can only remove and blank an empty directory. If your directory contains data or many directories inside it, then better to go with rm minus rf, where I would recursively and forcefully want to remove everything inside directory. So where I don't have to manually remove everything and then delete my main directory, simply I'll run rm minus rf or rf hyphen rf, whatever you call it, vpdir. No questions asked, it has removed vpdir with all its contents. Again, I'd like to tell you guys that removing is a very careful activity. Don't do it carelessly. Be very sure whatever you are doing, because here there is no recycle bin, guys. If you don't have any backup, then the file is going to be permanently removed and you have to recreate it maybe if it is important. Let's move ahead. Now, the question that was in our mind yesterday, how to create a file, we understood. How to add the data into the file also we have understood. But there was a question that how to edit the file. When we use cat greater than, it was creating a new file. So there is a question coming in. Question from Edward. Can we have a backup file before we remove them permanently? Of course, you can have a backup file. See, generally what happens is, in our working environment, we may be having TSM, Tivoli Storage Manager, or Net Backup, Data Domain, right? Networker, Avamar, many techniques are there what company follows. So every time what happens, they would collect the backup, and backup would be kept on a backup tape drive or library something. So in that scenario, if you lose anything accidentally, then with the help of those backup, you can get it back. Or if you want to manually do or take the backup, then you need to every time copy a file at two locations, one location here, other location there, and if from one location it is gone, from the other location you can restore, but manually it would be a very challenging thing. So that's the reason in every organization we have backup teams that would take backup every second or even lesser than second. Whatever we do, we'll get backup, and from there we can restore it. Does that answer your question, Edward? Right. So as I was talking about VI editor, how to edit a file. For example, I have created one file called my file. Inside it, I have added 3-4 lines. And now I would like to edit one of the line which I have created in my file. And to do this activity, you require an editor. Guys, basically in our Unix environment, there are many editors. You have VI editor, which is Visual Display Editor. The latest version of VI editor is VIM editor, Visual Display Editor Improved. Or you have Nano editor, and graphically like Notepad, you have something called gedit. See guys, if you are working on a graphical environment, which happens very rare, that we may be working on graphic, 90 to 95% guys, we may be working on command line from remotes. So let me log in. I just want to give you a feel that there are editors which are graphically very similar to your Notepad. So on command line, we have our VI editor, or you have VIM editor, which is a very, very popular, widely used by many people, and it works on every Unix environment. VI and VIM editor is the base editor you have on every Unix flavor. And few also have nano editor. See guys, there are lots of editors available, like you have Notepad, and manually you can download Notepad++, WordPad, Microsoft Word, but the base that comes by default with OS is Notepad. So here the thing that comes by default is VI and VIM, and few OS by default comes up with this nano one also. So you can work graphically with this editor. You can run gedit in the graphical environment. So it will open a notepad kind of thing. Hello world, and you can select it. Control C to copy, Control V to paste, like all those activities it might work out over here. It's very similar to your um, notepad in Windows environment. But on a command line environment, if we want to work, then we need to go with this VI or VIM editor. The difference between VI and VIM is VIM would be having some extra features which was not there in VI editor. It seemed like guys working with Windows 7, 8 and Windows 10. Basic concept would be same. Some look and feel and some new thing might be coming around in the latest thing. So probably we would target VIM, because if I know VIM, already it is an upgraded version of VI. So how to use this VI or VIM editor? Guys, VI or VIM editor contains three modes inside it: command mode, insert mode, and extended mode. When you open VI or VIM editor, by default you would be in command mode. As the note also suggests, when you open the VI editor, you would be in command mode by default. Now these three modes has their own importance. In command mode, you can do copying, pasting, cutting, pasting, deleting, all these things we can do. Okay, the question asked by Manzoor is, what is the purpose of VIM editor? Is it just a GUI based file editor? VIM editor or VI editor, both are CLI based editor. GUI based editor is gedit, graphical editor, what we saw just before. VI and VIM both are command line editors only. Just VI was old version and VIM is the latest version, a new improved one. So as I was telling you guys, the three modes: command, insert and extended. Command mode is generally for cutting, pasting, copying and deleting lines. You want to cut certain lines, command mode. You want to copy some lines, command modes. You want to delete some lines, command mode. You want to jump to the bottom of the page, command mode. You want to come back to the top of the page, command mode. So basically command mode is the place where we can cut, paste and delete the lines, and we can move up, down in our pages. Now, if you would like to make the changes in the file, for example, whatever is written, you want to replace it with other words, or you want to do some editing inside it, you want to delete the previous content and you want to freshly type something, or you want to correct the spellings, all that thing, then you need to go into insert mode. And insert mode is also called as edit mode, because there you can go and you can do your corrections, or you can add your new data, whatever you want, you can do it out. So one is command mode, the other one is insert mode. Now, after all your cutting, pasting, all your editing is finished, the last thing what you would like to do is to save and quit. And to save and quit your file, you need to come back to extended mode. Extended mode is the place from where you can save all your changes and you can quit your file, you can leave your file. So command mode is for cutting, pasting, modifying, deleting lines. Insert mode to actually change the data inside your file. After all your work is finished, to save your changes, extended mode. So these three modes are there, guys, that defines your VI or VIM editor. So before we can talk more about it, guys, I'd like to have a small break of a minute and then we'll continue with this thing. Just 1 minute of a break, guys. Okay, guys, thank you very much for your patience. Let's continue. So as I was talking about VI or VIM editor, we just understood that there are three important modes inside it. Command mode for cutting, pasting, copying the lines. Insert mode for making the changes, for editing your file. And once all your work is done, to save and quit, you need to come to extended mode. So let's see that how to use this modes and how to use this VI or VIM editor. So as I've told you that VI or VIM both are command line editors by using which you can edit an existing file or even you can create a fresh file. No need to use cat command. You can use VI and you can create your new file. So first I'd like to show you how to edit a file. For instance, you can see there is a file called testing and which contains the data hello world, welcome to Linux, something something, which I want to edit. Maybe some things I'd like to change inside it. If I use cat double greater than and testing, I'll say test for VIM, save and quit. Do cat testing. You see, it is only giving me a new line to add, but the data which is already there, I'm not able to edit it. And for this reason, we need these editors called VI, VIM, or nano editor, or whichever editor you use. Mostly VI and VIM editors are used in every Unix flavor. So in order to use VI or VIM editor and open the file, we'll run the command either VI. If you want to use VI editor, go with VI and the file name called testing. So it will open the file with VI editor. Same thing you can do it with VIM editor also. If you want to use VIM editor, you have to say VIM and the file name testing. So VI for old version, VIM for latest version. So VIM contains all the features of VI plus some extra features. So I'm going to concentrate on VIM editor. So I am into VI editor. Now VIM editor, in fact, I'm sorry. So in VIM editor, as I've told you, as soon as you open the file in VI or VIM editor, you would be in command mode. In command mode, if you try to run some commands, like I'm trying to run lk, you see nothing is happening. It is not typing anything. It has locked the content. I'm not able to type anything because in command mode you cannot edit this thing. In command mode, as I've told you, you can copy the lines, you can cut the lines, you can paste the lines, but you cannot edit the data. To edit the data, you must be in insert mode. So how to change my mode from command mode to insert mode? To change the mode from command to insert, we've got some commands like I is the command to go into insert mode from exactly the position where your cursor is. For example, if you see my cursor is at H and from the same place you would like to start editing, you want to go into insert mode, type I, and now you start typing anything, you'll see it started to type anything from the cursor position. I'm using backspace to delete all whatever I have typed. Similarly, assume if my cursor is at third line near I and from the same position I want to start editing, I'll type I. I came out, guys. I came out of insert mode earlier. See, earlier when I type I and when I type this data, I use backspace and then I came out of insert mode. Whenever you type I, at the bottom you see it is showing you that you are in insert mode. To leave insert mode and come back, you have to use escape key. Anytime when you use escape, you see that insert is gone. That means you are back to command mode. So I'll move third line is, and from here you want to go into insert mode, type I, and from here you can type anything. Now when you are in insert mode, move your cursor anywhere and add any data, hit enter, new line is open and you can do anything. So you need to type I to go into insert mode and make your corrections or add the data whatever you want to do it out. And once your work is over, to come out of insert mode, type escape or press escape. You see that insert prompt is gone. Now you type running any command, sorry, any key, it won't run anything. So like that, you can go into insert mode and you can make your typing whatever you want to do, come out of it and you can do it. Similarly, there are other options available, guys. I'm not sure that how many people uses this option, but you can see that instead of small I, you can use capital I to insert at the beginning of the line. For example, your cursor is at the end of the line. So you don't want to go into insert mode from the cursor position. You want your cursor to move back to the beginning of the page and then it should allow you editing. Then use capital I. You see automatically cursor moved to the beginning of the page and it took you into insert mode. Guys, I'm not sure that how many people would use these options because I can say I and I can move my cursor by using left arrow or right arrow. But still, these are the shortcuts. If you remember, it would be a great help. So capital I to move the cursor to the beginning of the line and go into insert mode. Similarly, you have small a to go to the next words letter and then start editing. For example, you are at test, but you want to start editing from for. So you can say a. Oh, next letter, guys, I'm sorry. So from the cursor, it is going to next letter and then start editing. It's not next word, it is next letter. So instead of directly starting from T, it has started from E. Guys, I can simply use the arrow keys to move it from here to there and I can start editing anywhere I like. Yeah. capital A is something which will take you to the end of the line. For example, you want to start editing from the end of the line. Your cursor is at the beginning of the line, then you can say capital A to directly jump to the end of the line and start editing. Then we've got small o and capital O. This is important, guys. This is really important. Assume, guys, between these two lines, Linux and this, between these two lines, you want to open a fresh line and then you want to start editing or you want to add the data. To open a new line below cursor position, you can use small o. O for opening, consider it. So when I say small o, between these two lines, it has given me one more line and I am into insert mode. Now I can type anything. Insert below cursor. Come out of insert mode, escape. Anytime you type escape, it will throw you back to command mode. Now guys, I want to open a new line above the cursor position. When I say small o, below Linux line, it has given me a new line. Now I would like to open a new line above Linux line. So I can say capital O to open a new line above the cursor position. So you see it has opened a fresh line above the cursor position. So here I can type above cursor position, something like that. Anytime type escape to come out of insert mode. So like that, you can use this insert mode for going into your text and making the changes whatever you would like to make. Guys, mostly it happens that we use vim, we'll move to particular line, we'll go with I and we will start going with insert. For example, I want to open a new line below. Generally what I'll do, I'll tell you that I'll go into insert mode, I'll go to the end of the line, hit enter and new line is open for me. If above I want to open a new line, I'll go to above, hit enter, and above one line is open. It's a shortcut like small o, capital O. However you want, you can use it. But to be very honest, most people simply use a small I to insert and then enter to open a new line below, some line above, move the cursor, give spaces, all that thing you can do it out, whichever comes easier. But yes, if you remember these shortcuts, it would be a great help. Then guys, let's move to our next mode, that is command mode. As I've told you that command mode is something where you can cut, paste, delete the lines. For example, as you can see, there are two blank lines available here. One below welcome, other below above. So these blank lines I would like to delete. I don't want any blank lines to be there in my file. To delete a single line, we've got a command called dd, double D. You see at the bottom where my cursor is. So if you see out over here, dd is to delete entire line. Guys, anytime you want to delete anything, delete a single letter or a word, then you can simply use del key, like I'm deleting letter by letter, del, or you can use backspace. You can go into insert mode and then you can use backspace to remove it. But if you want to remove the whole line, then press escape, come back to command prompt and say dd, two times D. When I say dd, you see it is removing that line. One more time dd, removing that line. One more time dd, move the cursor below it is removing that line. So like that, you can delete the whole line in one shot. Single letter, if you would like to remove, you can use del key or you can use backspace like how we use normally. Or for if you don't want to use del key or backspace key, then you can use uh, X key to delete letter by letter like del key, or you can use DW like backspace. Guys, del and backspace could be very easy for me, and I don't wanted to use that X or DW instead of that. Similarly, I want to delete two lines at a time or three lines at a time. When I say DD, it is deleting only one line at a time. But I'd like to delete multiple lines at a time. How to delete it? I'll say NDD, where N stands for numbers. For example, I'd like to delete two lines, Linux and insert, both. So I'll say 2, I'll type 2 as a number, 2, then DD. You see two lines have deleted. Similarly, if you want to remove four lines, 4DD. Four lines have been deleted. Guys, you have deleted the lines, but now you don't want to continue that thing. I mean, you want to revert the changes. You want to undo it. By mistake, you have deleted those lines. You don't want to continue. You want to undo it. To undo, you have to use U small u. So when I say U, it will undo all the changes, whatever you have done so far. To redo the same changes again, then you have to use Control R. Control R to redo the changes, U to undo the changes. So when I say Control R, it will redo. When I say U, it will undo. U for undo, Control R for redo. Also, guys, you would like to copy few lines. For example, I'd like to copy first two lines, hello world, above cursor position. These two lines I want to copy. Or if you want to copy single line, you have an option Y, Y. Y to copy a line. Y is also denoted as yanking, which is nothing but copying. To copy a single line, just type YY two times. It will copy that line. Now move your cursor anywhere. To paste it, we have to use P, small p to paste below the cursor position, capital P above the cursor position, same like small o and capital O. So if I say small p, it will paste below the cursor position. If I say capital P, it will paste above the cursor position. So that's how you have to paste it. YY single line, P below the cursor position, capital P above the cursor position, YY for copying, P for pasting. Similarly, let's say you want to copy two lines or three lines or n number of lines. Then you have to use, for example, I want to copy two lines. I'll say 2YY. Or if you want to copy three lines, 3YY. You see at the bottom it says that you have copied three lines. Now let me paste it below. Anywhere you like you can paste it. Below cursor position, small p. Above cursor position, capital P. Any way you would like to paste, you can paste it. To copy n number of lines, you just need to give number, how many lines you want to copy, and then YY. NYY to paste it, small p or capital P. To cut and paste, we have again DD command. DD command acts as deleting a line as well as cutting a line. For example, you want to cut 3 lines from above. Just say 3 TD. It is deleted. Actually, it is cut. Now paste it below, capital P or small p. You see, from top I took those 3 lines and I have pasted it below. So DD acts as deleting the line as well as cutting the line. After DD, if you don't use P, then it is deleted. If you use P, then whatever is deleted will be pasted as cut and paste. Now guys, all my editing is done. I have cut something from one location, I have pasted from other location, I have inserted, I have changed the things, whatever I'd like to do, I have done. Now finally, I'd like to save these changes and I'd like to quit. I am in insert mode, so make sure that you are not in insert mode. You need to come out of insert mode and then you can save it. To come out of insert mode, you have to type escape. Make sure that always you are out of insert mode, because if you are in insert mode, it will just type that word, but it won't use it as a command. So I'll come out of insert mode and then I'll shift my mode from command mode to extended mode. In extended mode, to save a file, but still you want to be inside the file, then you have to use :W. To quit without saving, :Q. To save and quit, :WQ. To save it forcefully, :W exclamatory mark. Sometimes what happens guys, two persons at a time may be editing same file. In that time it may not allow you to save the file. So that time you need to apply force by using exclamatory mark. To save and quit forcefully, WQ exclamatory mark. Also guys, when you are in command mode, if you would like to search a line, for example you want to search for a word called above, then make sure you are in command mode. Use slash guys. You can see over here slash to search a word in the file. So use slash, search for any line, for example above. I want to look for a word called above. Enter. You see wherever above is there, it is displayed out over here. So like that you can search. Use / and any word, for example Linux. So it will display wherever Linux is displayed. Now let's come back to save and quit. Assume you want to save and at the same time you want to quit. Then I'll say escape to make sure that I am in command mode. Then I'll use :. I am using escape only to make sure that I am in command mode. Sometimes it happens that if you are in insert mode, you try :, it is just typing :, it is not using it as a command. So that's the reason I am making sure by typing escape that I am not inside insert mode. Then I'll use : W to save. If you don't want to quit, you just want to save it, W, that's it. But I want to save as well as quit, so I'll say WQ. And if you want to do this activity forcefully, maybe you are afraid that other peoples are also using and it won't allow you to save it, then you have to go for forceful option, WQ exclamatory enter. Now you see guys, ls, and I'll say cat testing. What all we did in our VI editor got saved. Let's say one more time I'll go to VIM testing. I'll delete few lines. For example, 5 TD. I have removed 5 lines. Another 3 lines. DD, 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 DD. All important lines I have deleted. Now this time I don't want to save it. I want to quit without saving my changes. So I'll go with colon. I'll use Q. W, write and quit. Q, quit without writing. If you want to do it forcefully, exclamatory mark. So you see whatever changes you did not save because you have quit without saving. So like that you can save and quit, or you can quit without saving. Guys, are you able to follow these things, guys, whatever I have shown you so far? Edward is okay. Garima is also fine. Michael does not have any question. Manzoor is also fine. Okay, great. Great. Now, two more things are there, guys, in VI editor, and then we'll wind up the session. Guys, still I want to talk about extended mode. I'll go back to VIM testing. Let me change some extra line, guys. Let me make my file looking good. I'll remove few lines. Let me remove this thing also. Let me remove this thing also. I'm using simple delete button and deleting. Let me delete some lines. DD, DD, DD. Okay, fine. Right, so this much this time I'd like to save and quit, guys. So how to save and quit? Confirming by pressing escape, then colon WQ exclamation. I want to do it forcefully. Or guys, in place of WQ, you can also use small x. Small x is short form for WQ, save and quit. I can say small x exclamation, save and quit forcefully. Now say cat testing, whatever we did has now got saved, guys. Now let's try to talk about what are the new things that we have in your VIM editor. Why we are using VIM editor? One thing is that, guys, that VI editor and VIM editor, in VIM editor you have some extra added things, guys, or some extra features. Like if you read any configuration file, if you go to any configuration file, like if I say vi etc fs tab, if you remember, guys, I told you etc is a place for configuration files. Inside it there is an important file called fs tab. If I read it, it is displayed in a simple black and white output. Let me quit without saving. Same thing if I go with VIM editor, enter. You see it is in a what I can say colorful manner, and these color coding is very important, guys. For example, if I make a syntax mistake, instead of swap, let's say I have typed wap. You see color coding has changed. Instead of defaults, I have used efaults. You see color coding has changed. So it will tell me that whether it is correct or wrong, if I have made a mistake inside it or not. This is where, guys, your what I can say VIM editor is different. It will give you color coding, guys, to understand that what we are doing, and if we make any syntax error or something, these colors gets changed and we can easily identify that what problem we have done. This was not there in vi editor. This is a new thing in vim editor. Also, if I go into vim testing file, let's say, guys, I'd like to password protect this file. I don't want anybody to read the content of my file. I need to protect it with a password. So this feature was also not there in VI editor. From VI editor, you've got this feature that you can use that capital X in extended mode to give a password to your file and to remove a password also, both cases. So I'll say colon or escape colon, then capital X. It will ask you to give some password. I'll say red hat, one more time, red hat. Now let me save and quit. After applying the password, save it and quit. Now you run cat testing. You see I'm not able to read the contents of the file. Can I edit it? I'll say vim testing. It says that you have to provide a password for this, otherwise it is not going to open. Let me try any other password. I'm not able to edit it. So this is how vim editor is different when compared to the previous editor. Guys, if I want to remove this password, vim testing, give the correct password, red hat. Now give colon capital X. One more time, I am going for password. Capital X. It says, would you like to set a new password? I'll say empty. I'm not going to give anything. Leave it blank. Enter. One more time, leave it blank. Enter. Done. Save and quit. Now run cat testing. You see it is gone. To assign also, you have to go with capital X. And to remove the password also capital X. While removing, don't type anything, leave it blank, so password would get removed. The last thing, with vim editor, you can open multiple files for editing. For example, I'd like to open Anaconda and testing together. How to open vim-o, first file, second file. So let me run this command vim-o. The first file I want to open is Anaconda. Second file I want to open is testing. When I hit enter, my screen will be divided into two. First is Anaconda and the other one is testing. My cursor is at first line. Assume I want to copy some lines. 8yy. I have copied some 8 lines from my first file. Now I'd like to move to second file and paste it. How to toggle between the files? You have to use Control W 2 times. So when I run Control W for 2 times, Control W, you see my cursor has jumped to second file. Now move your cursor wherever and type P to paste it. So you see I copied the stuff from first file and I have pasted into second file. Again, if I want to move back to previous, Control W, and I am at my first file. So such things you can do it. You can copy paste the things from one location to other location. Whatever you want to do, you can do it out. Then save and quit or quit without saving, however you want to do. First file, I don't want to save anything. Second file, I want to save and quit. Now you say cat testing, you see whatever you have done is available here. So that's it guys for today's session. If there are any questions, some things you want to ask, you can go ahead before we can wind up the session. Yes. Okay, Edward is fine. Michael is fine. Garima, no questions. She says she'll practice and come back. Most welcome. Anytime you have a problem before the class or after the class, we can take up the questions. Other guys, could you please confirm? If you have any questions, we can take up them, or if else, we can wind up. Guys who don't have any questions, if you want to leave, you can leave. And people who have questions can stay back. I can answer your questions. Okay. So Zishan says he'll practice and come back. Sure. Okay then guys. So we'll stop here and let's meet up tomorrow for our third and final part of basics, guys. Thank you very much for joining. Have a nice day, guys. Bye.